everybody, my name is Cheri. Welcome to my stamp studio. We are going to start probably one of the last Christmas series, well, definitely the last Christmas series that I do. I'm going to be doing a couple of packaging things and a couple of tags things, but this is the last for real little series that I do because face it, we're almost to Thanksgiving, and once we get to Thanksgiving, you have time to obviously do tags, packaging, and gifts, and we'll do some gifts because those aren't Christmas themed, but you're out of time. And the very sad thing for me is when I look at this catalog, I see all of the things that I bought that I haven't really got to show off for you. So that's kind of how I came to this series. I am going to use the gingerbread and peppermint sweet that's right here. So I bought it as soon as it came out, but I didn't get it all because I don't even remember now. I think it was the Memories and More note cards that we couldn't get. So I didn't buy all of it. I just bought pieces of it. In fact, I still don't have the stencils because when I like to buy the whole suite because then I just know I have everything. And I have loved using the craft paper, and I've used it a lot. But here's a little moment of confession. The paper is a little bit much for me. It's like a whole lot of red, green, and cocoa. Like it's a little bit too much. I love the ribbon, but it's had some back order issues. So again, I haven't used it a lot. I have these dies and I haven't used them at all. Like I literally just took them out of the package. So I did want to use them because it's super cute. And I'm going to use some of the paper, but not, it's just, it hurts my eyes to look at it. In small quantities, gorgeous, but you lay it all out. And those of you that were in the try it class, the card was really cute that we made. But again, it was in small quantities because it's a lot of those colors. So I'm going to do several different things. So the card I'm going to do today is obviously themed, oh my gosh, and here, another moment of confession. I'm right here with you. I have not started my Christmas cards. So I haven't started mine, but oh my gosh, I've started my Christmas cards. So you need to come up. Obviously, we want them to be super cute, but they need to be hightailing it, right? Because you don't have a lot of time, especially if you need to make as many as I do. So we need to do something cute. It's also going to tie into my next class, and we're going to get some packaging. So today's card is going to be, oh my gosh, I need to do them. They're gonna go fast. You're gonna be shocked how fast you can make them. But then I'm gonna do a twist on the same exact card. So come back in a couple of days, same exact card, but even faster. So it will still be almost as cute, not quite as cute, but almost as cute. But if you're still running for time, but the nice thing is it takes basically the same supplies. So if you are like me and you order it with the best of intentions to do the card I do today, and then next thing you know, you're out of time, you can swap it up and do the other card because it's pretty much the exact same supplies. Then, we have on stage this week, so I don't know that I'm going to get the class opened. My next online class, again, not going to be very many cards. We will do some cards. These are not the cards we will do. This kind of has some of the paper and then the Memories and More. The class will include one of our binders and a full pack of, this is all mixed up, and it's not the full pack because I'm actually working on the class right now. A full pack of the page protectors that go in the binder, which is upside down. We will decorate the front of the binder, but you're going to make a recipe book because the Memories and More have a recipe book. And when we add some other things and you add your own recipes and your handwriting and maybe even some pictures, and we add some more stuff to it, then the color combination, it's just a little bit much for me because it's over and over and over. Even just adding this black here kind of tones it down. And then we will do like maybe probably not four, maybe two or three cards. The cards will be on a PDF, which is very different for me. All of my classes are video. We will put this together via video. Then you will have some PDF photos and measurements that have you finish off the pages, and then the cards will use up some of the remainder because you won't use all of the Memories and More to get these pages together. We'll use those up on some little note cards that you could use, like if you bake something, if you bake a loaf of your famous bread, or you do a cookie exchange or something. But the recipe book would be great, like if you have family recipes that you want to pass on to your kids, if you want to do the first book yourself, and then get more books so you have the pattern and have everybody come over. Like your grandkids or your daughters or your sisters, and make like family heirlooms to pass on. It's going to be cute. So I'm going to add some more colors so we don't have the color overkill. And today's card is not those colors. We're going to have the colors, but it's going to be super cute. So I'm using the gingerbread and peppermint sweet. So let's see how fast you can do this. So when you're running out of time, what you want to do is do stuff fast, right? So we are going to mass produce cards, but we're going to do them 4 at a time, which is a little bit different. And when you see how I do them, like if you need to do 30, then you would do all 30. Like you could do what I'm going to do now, do 30 of this step at one time and kind of do it in step. So this is just half sheets of white cardstock. So let's fold these in half. So I will make 4. And there's not very many steps of this that I am going to take out and fast forward. Maybe when I get to popping them out of the dies, I might fast forward that. But I want you to see how fast this truly is. So if you're going, yeah, I can't do that because I don't have much time left, you can put on a Hallmark movie. So we've got these. And then I like to do if I'm in a hurry. And sometimes, you know, when I, like every other month, every 3rd month, depending on how many cards I've made and how many of you have ordered, I make thank you cards, and then other times you get the ones I've made on the video. So when I make them, see, you can do 4 of those at once with your bone folder and still get a nice crease. So I am going to take real red. I'm only using real red and basic black because we don't want to be opening and shutting a lot of ink pads. I did just post my second how-to video, and it's how to, from the second you get an ink pad and it's in its plastic storage or plastic wrap, how to add your stickers, how to store it, how to re-ink it when it's ready, and a little bit on refills if you have a mix of the old and the new pads, like kind of how to prime it. So that's the latest how-to video. So I'm just adding this. Obviously, if we are doing a lot, we are just going to have some red happy color on there, and we are not going to worry about how the color is going on because red's a dark color. So it's going on how it's going on. We're not going to worry about it. And originally when I did my first card, I was going to do it the other direction. But then when you're going to see in a second when I show you the die, why I switched it. So those 4 are done. Then I just took the tiny little peppermints out of the stamp. And I'm just going to add some peppermint. You want to remember to kind of twist it around. There are steps of this. This is one that if your husband or your older children, like you wouldn't want your 2-year-old to help with any of this, just because of the mess and because it's red ink. But if your husband likes to help, obviously they can fold cards, especially if half the cards are going to his side of the family, he needs to help. But most of them can do this. I find stuff like the blending brush, they get a little hung up on it because they think it needs to be perfect. It doesn't need to be, but however your first card looks, they think theirs needs to look like that. So now we've added that. That's all for the red. Then the only other color we are going to add is black. And there are several different sayings in this. So if you want some of them, I just pulled out the Happy Holidays. I wanted to use the one that says Merry Christmas, but it's on a block somewhere and I couldn't find it. And I'm in a hurry, not just because I haven't made Christmas cards, but because I'm trying to get a bunch of videos done and also work on the Eden's Garden class today so my husband can start cutting paper while I'm at our on-stage event. So I'm like, you know, Happy Holidays works. I prefer to use Merry Christmas on my cards, but I can put that on the inside later once I find the stamp. Then there's one if you're sending it to your grandkids or, you know, somebody that, the sentiment where I'm sending peppermint kisses, that works for this one. And you could also put that on the inside depending on who's getting it. So that's all the stamping. So we're 4 cards in stamped. Now let's do our die cutting. So I chose not to use any embossing folder because pressed for time and it doesn't need it. So something's got to go when you're running out of time. So I have just cut pieces of paper. So this one I'm going to do my frosting. And no matter how you slice it, frosting gingerbread cookies this way is a whole lot faster than doing them for real. And your neck isn't going to hurt nearly as bad as if you were frosting for real gingerbread cookies. So these white pieces are cut a little bit bigger. This is another thing that if you figure out the first size of how two that fit on here. Oh, and red. I was supposed to put a red piece on here. But if you figure out the first size, then your husband or an older child could at least cut these, because you could do it with scissors. But I did mean to put here, we're gonna pretend you're doing this. One of these should have gone on with that. So I'm just gonna do this now. This comes in it's a border that's in the set. So it's not anything additional. We're just all using the same supplies. And I just cut that in strips. It's a tiny bit wider because time is more important to me than saving a tiny, tiny bit of paper. And this is why my card went the other direction, because it takes one of these to do a card. If you do it horizontal, I can cut it in half and get it on two if my card went vertical. So that was when my card changed. So there's that. Roll this over. I would have a little something here to catch all of my mess if this was me doing it for real. But for now, I'm just gonna brush it all on the table. Flip this upside down and that will work for this, because this next one is just going to be our cookies. So put your cookies on here, and this is just the cinnamon cider paper. I may have called it close to cocoa when I said it. The colors bothering me, that there's just so much of the same colors. And plus, the other thing that kind of bothers me about this set, because we make gingerbread cookies, not frosted, just ginger, well, we call them ginger snacks, because, you know, when you have little kids in the family and they mispronounce something when they're little, my niece called them ginger snacks, or ginger snaps. She called them ginger snacks. And so that has stuck. She turns 24 next at Thanksgiving. Her birthday is a couple days after mine. But she called them ginger snacks. So, you know, 22 years later, 23 years later, we still call them ginger snacks. How did I do this before like this? I shouldn't be talking about ginger snacks. But that's the other thing that kind of bothers me about this, is there's burnt edges. That just stresses me, because when you cook lots and lots of Christmas cookies, the thought of burning them, and I think they did it to kind of add some other color to the paper, but I'm like, oh, there's burnt cookies on here. Roll this through. And obviously you would be going faster if you weren't talking to somebody. But sometimes, you know, we like to do this when we're watching TV. So pop this out. Now I do have this here, which obviously you don't need for the cookies, because those just fall right out. And then just gonna roll this time on here. This helps control your mess. And you know, I have my little desk vacuum that also helps control the mess. But in case you need it for these, it can get them out a little bit faster. But really, this is why I didn't want to fast forward any of this. I want you to see that it really is super quick. And we'll have four cards done in this amount of video time. And if they stay in the die, it's really kind of easier to brush them out, but mine fell out of the die so easily that I didn't get the opportunity. This is another thing that my husband actually, if you are somebody that does my online classes, if you can always tell if I'm the one that did your die cut or if my husband did it. Because if I do it and you got this little bell in an online class, then you would be left to poke the things out. Because if you're cutting something for 75 people, then it takes a long time to poke them out, whereas it just takes you just a couple seconds to poke out your one thing. But my husband likes to do it, and I'll come down and I'm like, you didn't have to poke all those out. What was the last class we just did? Maybe it was card club. So what was my last card club? I don't know, whatever the last one was. No, it wasn't Card Club, because he put pieces of paper in between so they didn't stick. I'm trying to remember what die it was. Yeah, I feel like card. Oh no, it was for our thank you gifts. Because all of you that got the pumpkin, because my VIP videos this month, we used the pumpkin die. Here I am talking again, and it's making it take longer. Just look at that there. We used the really ornate pumpkin die, and he picked all of them out for you. And I'm like, you did not have to do that. So y'all that got that was not me. Now here's another little tip where to put my paper. This isn't the one I use, but I can use it. So like I said, I was gonna do my card this way, but then you would have to roll almost a whole one through. And I didn't want to take that time. So you can lay these on here. It's a little over 6 inches. So that means that a little over 3 inches is half. So if you just lay this on here, there's the 6, which means this one right here is where you snip it. So you don't need to get a tape measure out. Just lay it on here. You see this one that comes right to the 3. That's why these little sheets of paper that have measurements on them are so handy to have. Another little tip, take your dimensionals. So we're going to use those in a second. But when you put your adhesive on the back of this backing here that the dimensionals don't stick to, the adhesive also doesn't stick to it. So it kind of goes in between. And I'm just going to add the adhesive to the first and the last. Now, if you wanted to go even quite quicker and make sure that your happy holidays, well, it doesn't go even quicker. It doesn't go quicker, but it will make sure that your happy holidays is straight. If you want to throw it in your Stamparatus, then they'll all be straight. But you do have to take your card in and out, which does add a little bit of time, but then it will all look perfect. So it's just up to you. I didn't really care because this is all kind of just a fun card. So to me, it doesn't matter. And here's the honest truth is when you send these cards to people who don't make cards, they think they're fabulous anyways. So save the ones that look super good to your friends that make cards and send the ones to your grandmother who thinks that everything you do is fabulous. Send her the one that's a little crooked and she won't even notice. This one here. So we have those. Now let's do our cookies, which is the one I'm going to skip this one just because I don't want to take the second to do that. So we're going to finish 3 of them, and then I have another one. That's that one. I do have one that's already done, so you'll get to see 4. And all that we're going to skip is putting the frosting on that one. So I just took a tiny bit of adhesive and put it right in the middle. And then just stick your frosting on. And you can see I kind of put my finger right in the middle to kind of untack anything where it's touching. And you don't have to worry if you don't poke every last one of them out, because unless you bought your cookies, see that one doesn't even have much that's sticking out of it. Unless you buy your cookies from a super expensive bakery, chances are the frosting is not perfect anyways. So if there's that little piece right there in that bell, you don't even really notice it. I also do not have any ribbon and I don't have any embellishments because that also saves time. And when you see the finished card, they don't need it. I think they're perfectly fine without it. So again, we're doing the same step. Just pretend I've got that ornament right there as well. I wish the ornament was the one I had done. But 1, 2. Let's see which was the one that had one of my happy holidays. It was more crooked than the other 2. And for posting it online in the picture, I'll go with the one that's a little straighter. So here you go. I don't know how long that took us. We'll see how long the video is. And remember, I talked at the beginning of it. But 4 cards. There you go. So if you have not started your Christmas cards yet, because the beauty of this suite, as much as the paper's kind of for me, the beauty of the stamp bundle itself is that there's 4 things. So every pass of your die is going to give you 4 things to use on a card. And because of the way that you're able to get 4 of these, because every time you pass a cookie, run one of these. Every time you pass frosting, run one of these. So then when you cut it in half, you've run 4 things and you'll get 4 of these as well. So come back and I will show you. So if you get these mostly done and you think I'm going really good, and then the reality of Thanksgiving smacks you in the face and you have family and you sit and you watch some football and then you do some shopping and next thing you know, it's the Wednesday after Thanksgiving and you're like, I'm only halfway done. I gotcha, because I'm going to show you how to just take the same thing again and we're going to speed it up just a little bit faster. So come back and watch that second video and be watching for the online class. Going to be super fast. It'll be a fun class because it's not cards that you have to get out to anybody. You can do it at your cookie exchange. You can do it at cookie swap. It could be a fun office thing. If you have people who are always intrigued by you stamping, it'd be fun to just have them like come make a recipe book. And people are like, oh, I can make a recipe book on pre-printed stamped cards, and then we're going to parlay that into some card making in December for my online class. Again, that will be super easy and a chance for you to make some gifts with the memories and more. So that's what I have for you today. I hope you enjoy it. Get going on those cards, and I'm talking to myself. So everybody have a great one. Bye.